Baltimore's Inner Harbor is postcard perfect. After all, it is one of the city's most photographed areas and home to its most popular tourist attractions. But the picture begins to fade only 6 miles away, here on Shirley Avenue.
You have more empty houses here than you have people living in.
Patrick Penn owns a home here, but he's watched a growing number of his neighbors lose theirs to foreclosure. And each empty house adds new trouble to an already troubled neighborhood.
The people move out their homes and drug dealers take over empty homes. I mean, it's obvious.
It isn't just Shirley Avenue. Foreclosure snapshots are about the same here on Clinton Avenue and here on Arnold Court. They're all predominantly African-American neighborhoods, and city leaders say it's not a coincidence, but an ugly consequence of racism. Baltimore blames mortgage giant Wells Fargo and is suing the bank, alleging it targeted those neighborhoods for abusive subprime lending practices. In the lawsuit, 2 former company employees admit there were financial incentives to encourage employees to target African-American neighborhoods for deceptive, high-priced loans that resulted in unnecessary foreclosures, even if they qualified for a standard loan. CBN News spoke with the city's lead attorney, George Nilsson, about the case.
The city's goal is twofold. One is to make sure that the practices that are alleged in the complaint are not continuing and do not continue, but also to recover damages to the city caused by the Wells Fargo behaviors and foreclosures.
Wells Fargo wants the lawsuit dismissed, but so far a judge has denied that motion. The bank would not consent to an interview, but in a written statement the company told CBN News, "We welcome the opportunity to set the record straight and demonstrate the many controls we have in place to ensure fair, responsible, and non-discriminatory lending for all our customers." Baltimore's lawsuit against Wells Fargo names 163 of the bank's vacant and foreclosed homes in the city. Here's a look at the list. Each address is in a predominantly black neighborhood, and the lawsuit says the bank didn't only target black neighborhoods, it also targeted black churches.
The black churches in the city were used as marketing devices because that's where large numbers of African Americans gather and could be found together.
To back up its charges of racism, the lawsuit alleges the bank refused to let white employees make presentations to those African-American audiences, referred to subprime loans in minority communities as ghetto loans, and referred to minority customers as mud people.
This story really disheartens me because I think I got caught up with many other African-Americans to believe that racism was dead.
Jamal Bryant is pastor of Empowerment Temple. He started the church 9 years ago after leaving the NAACP. The church has grown from 43 members to more than 10,000. As the name clearly states, this church's mission is to empower members spiritually, politically, and economically. So they're watching this court case closely.
We're still waiting because really the court case is yet swinging in the pendulum. And so we're waiting for the gavel to come down, but we're holding our breath, believing that justice is going to roll down like a mighty stream.
Pastor Bryant told us this ordeal has affected his congregation and those from other churches. But he doesn't only blame Wells Fargo. Bryant says the church must also accept responsibility.
We're really trying to do a healing from the top bottom, and it has been a great learning experience for the church because in some large measure the church is guilty of reckless endangerment because we gave a false premise that the sign of you being blessed is you having a large house. The sign of you having favor is you able to move. We would get up and testify. I moved into this wonderful home, no money down, and the whole church clapped and applauded, and nobody said, read page 6 and see exactly where this balloon is going to get you. So when you get evicted, we say it was the work of the devil. But when we got the house, we say it's the work of God. At some point, we've got to take some ownership and some responsibility.
Ownership and responsibility are exactly what Patrick Penn is looking for in new neighbors back on Shirley Avenue. And he thinks the church may be the answer.
Educating the people in this neighborhood on home buying and how to keep your home. That's how I feel the church can get involved. I believe the church is a big impact in this community because all of us are God-fearing people here.
In Baltimore, Maryland, Ephraim Graham, CBN News.